Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Sunday Sit Down with yours truly, Nicole LaTreece. Give me just a second. I still have just a couple of things to set up, so hopefully y'all will bear with me. I hope everybody's weekend was amazing, that you were able to get rest and recuperate and anything else that you feel like you may be lacking from your normal work week. I hope you were able to find it this weekend in your comfort zone, because this conversation tonight is going to have some of y'all probably feeling a little bit uncomfortable, which is okay because there is always comfort on the other side of being uncomfortable. Give me just a second. Let me let everybody in the room to be able to bear witness to this conversation. Ray, if you are listening, please log in so we can go ahead and get this conversation started like we need to. Because this is your fault to begin with, you know. It started from a post that I saw on Ray Gibson's page, so I invited him to join me and have a conversation tonight on this topic of who's really responsible for these absent fathers. And I know y'all should have a lot to say. Okay, hold on one second. Instagram is acting crazy. I think the thing is, the universe knows that I am ready to go on vacation. And it's like, oh, we're not gonna do right today. Where is it? Sorry, y'all. Y'all know me. I'm usually on my P's and Q's and I'm ready to go. So just bear with me if you can hear me. My Facebook people, my YouTube people, say what's up to your girl. Let me know who's rocking with me tonight. Who's here listening to this conversation about who's really responsible for absent fathers. Um, as someone who knows this kind of very well, yeah, that's why I made it a point to want to engage in this conversation. If I don't see Ray come on in a little bit, it's always an open forum. I'm here for good communication. So if you feel inclined to speak your piece, you may not necessarily have to speak your actual truth, which I wish you would, but maybe you've experienced through other people in your life similar situations to be able to speak on some aspects of this conversation tonight, who's really responsible for absent fathers. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started because I know how y'all are with y'all time, because I'm the same way with mine. I protect it, it's important, and it's valuable. So welcome everyone to the Sunday sit down. Hopefully everyone is able to hear me. Hopefully everyone is able to see me, and hopefully everyone is willing and wanting to engage with your girl tonight. The Sunday sit down, it is a space that I have created. I used to say out of the midst of my mess, but it is a space that I have created to be able to really have an environment where open dialogue is encouraged, right? A lot of people like to talk, and I heard this on a song like literally 2 seconds ago. It's like everybody talking, but no one's addressing the elephant in the room. It's like, and we're engaging in these conversations amongst our own friend groups and amongst our own family circles, but we're not taking these types of conversations out into our other worlds, our workspaces, our children's daycare, our children's schools, um, you know, kava and combos. Like, we need to start talking about these things. So, if I can recall, was a post that Ray gives up. Like I said, Ray, if you out here, I'm on here. Somebody send him a message and let him know he's slacking. But he had put up a post and it said something to the effect of, would y'all say it is women most times that are responsible for absent fathers. Now, when I saw that post, hmm, and I started looking at the comments. Give me a second. And the comments, okay, hold on. Dang dog. Who y'all, I'm dealing with this new space. Y'all be easy with me because I'm trying to be easy with it. Can y'all hear me? Come on now. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see me, you guys can hear me. I have no idea, y'all. Give me just a second. I'm sorry. I may have to relaunch this. Okay, I do apologize for this huge technical difficulty right in the middle of what it is that I'm trying to do. I hope that you guys can see me, that you can hear me. If you can, please let me know in the chat that I'm coming through correctly because, yeah, I don't know what just happened, but yeah, I was trying to just, set the room, welcome everybody in, and tonight's conversation is going to be about, ooh, sorry. Tonight's conversation is actually going to be about who's responsible for absent fathers. As I was stating, Ray Gibson is supposed to be my host, my guest tonight. I'm not too sure where he is, but we wish him peace and blessings. He put up a post that said, would you say that most times it's the women that are responsible for absent fathers? I just really want to get into it. It is everybody's fault for absent fathers. Some people will say, yes, it's the mom because women make it difficult for men to, deal with the situation, especially when it comes to a co-parenting type of environment. Some people will say it's the dads because the dads should be the ones that, are responsible for their own choices, especially when it comes to the decisions that they've made. Some people will go so far as to say it was society, the government that wanted to keep families apart, especially black families. So it's all of it, right? If this is the space, if this is the dynamic of what it is that we're talking about, and everyone has a idea of what may have led to that, then there is, in my opinion, not one specific concrete area that I feel people can say this person, this gender is what led to it. I am a product of an absent father, right? And I've talked about it before. Not knowing what I carried secretly, quietly, unknowingly, being it, the result of an absent father is just like everything in life. And this is me putting on my coaching hat. This is me really trying to give y'all like a good word of wisdom. Everything in life comes down to, and I have to say it this way because it involves perspective. Everything in life comes down to choices or decisions. I understand that most people in the world make choices, right? In my opinion, when it comes to choices, you are only looking at the difference between a few different things, right? It's the lesser of the two evils. Like, you're like, oh, it may be your feelings. I want to be satisfied, or I like to engage in these things, or I don't want to be alone. Like, those are all feelings. Or it could be the thing where you are making a choice in the space of not full comprehension, like because you don't look at the life that you live, right? You don't look at how you get down. You don't look at how you've been moving and impacting the people that you've been coming into contact with. Whatever the case may be, there are the majority of the people in this world that are operating in a space to only make choices. You have an elite few, I like to call them, especially in the locale that I'm in right now. You have an elite few who operate in life making decisions. Decisions are not temporary. Decisions are not usually things that like produce a full level of instant gratification. Decisions are being able to see beyond what is present in this moment, even when you don't fully know all of it, to be able to say, okay, if I do this right here, right now, with this person, in this space, in this mindset, in this economy, in all of it, what could go forward from here? Where will I end up? And if we're talking about the space of co parenting, these are the terms I'm about to use. I despise them, but I have to use them to be able to relate to who it is that I serve. If y'all are out here calling the mother of your children your baby mama, or the father of your children your baby daddy, you're already doing yourself a disservice in making this thing better. You're perpetuating the cycle because in society nowadays, I feel that those two terms have such a negative connotation behind them, right? I've never heard somebody just be like, oh, that's my baby daddy. It's a song, but even still, that song wasn't praising somebody for being the father of their child. It is a dismissive term, it is a devaluing term. It is um, really a term that a lot of people use when they ain't feeling that person no more. But to call someone anything less than literally what they have been called to be based on your interactions, again, the mother of your child or children, the father of your child or children, until we start looking at it on a level like that, this narrative ain't finna change. It's not. I One element of what I do in the Clarity Coaching Collective is there is a co-parenting space, right? So I am, again, the product of two co-parents that weren't successful in their relationship. I am now, being on this side, I'm now a co-parent right? And I know what you guys will say. Oh, well, you perpetuated the cycle too. I did. And there are some things in life that will stay constant, but that doesn't mean that that's the way that it always has to be, right? So if you want change, sometimes to a certain extent, you have to be that change. Yes, I now am a co parent to my child because I am divorced from her father. But my difference is I'm not bitter. I'm not resentful. Like, do I wish long time ago things, changed and improved to where it wasn't this type of dynamic? Maybe so. We're not there anymore. You know what I'm saying? But I owe a duty to not only who he was in the space of what we created, I owe a duty to my daughter to not demean, devalue, belittle, do anything that goes against his role in her life. Y'all are out here calling people your baby mama and your baby daddy thinking that it's cute, but that's how you plant them seeds. Your kids hear you say those terms. Not knowing the full value, not understanding the full weight, not understanding what really goes into the root of that, they start to think that it's cute because that's what they hear. Then we have more people, more young people, in my opinion, who are out here looking just for a baby daddy or a baby mama. Because they don't know what it means to be intentional about being a father in a child's life. They don't know what it means to be intentional about being a mother in a child's life. They are going to go out and repeat the same because the same that's going on right now with absentee, period, it has to stop. Like, I know people, right, who are just moving how they're moving. They're doing their own little things in their own little world, messing with whoever they messing with, and already have kids. Kids that, and I don't judge anybody. I just speak out, in a space of observation based on, I guess, maybe the little girl in me that wishes that my father could have been there a lot more than what he was. Whether it's allowed, not allowed, we're not getting into that part right now. But to have children and then the relationship does not work romantically with the other co-parent. And in my instance, her dad, his instance, mom. To quickly abandon, to quickly move around. And I know that some of y'all will say, yeah, but I gotta protect my peace. What gives you the right to protect your peace in a situation where you disrupted the peace in the first place? Right? Because people don't just fall apart because it's always one person who did it. People don't always fall apart, they don't always fall away in the parenting space because of a big thing. Sometimes there are subtle little things that come into play. There are certain conversations that you're really not having because you're either too tired or you feel like it won't change or you owe it to your kids to engage in those conversations as much as possible. I know that in some situations, there are really extenuating circumstances to where the best thing that you can do is to not engage with the other parent. But if you are that type of person in that situation, one thing you can do is honor your child. You don't have to bring those adult feelings of whatever you have designated or classified that person to be or not to be into the space of your child's world. Like if you're in a situation to where it's really in your best interest, like for real, don't be making concessions, don't be, out here doing passes and stuff like that. Like on what I'm about to say, I don't give you permission to use it haphazardly. But if for domestic reasons, if for safety and or health reasons, if you not talking to that other parent is what is really necessary, right? Really necessary. Then you owe it to your child not to talk, not to speak on that parent at all. Because at that point, it's no longer your responsibility. Like you cannot, you weren't designed to be mom and dad at the same time. You may have to do mom and dad responsibilities at the same time, especially if you are a single parent or even in a co parenting space or even in a relationship. Y'all are still two separate people who have come together, produced this thing, this life, this being. Y'all are still both equally responsible as long as you are making a commitment to be in the child's life. But if you are, because I had a conversation with one of my best friends who's a guy, like I enjoy having conversations with different perspectives of like me talking to other women, me talking to other men, because it creates a whole perspective, right? It gives that space of grace. It gives that space of understanding. It gives that space of clarity. I feel that doing that allows future conversations to be disarmed, right? Because if I can engage in a certain conversation with a friend, and I mean, me and my people, like, yeah, we be, having light and, um, funny moments. But it's just like if something is going on or if we're experiencing something, like we really talk about it. No judgment, but receiving what is trusted to me in our conversations is just like, well, dang, like that ain't my perspective, but that doesn't mean it can't become my perspective. You can't put anything off or past anybody, right? Anybody's capable of anything. Murphy's Law says that anything that can happen will happen. I know, and it maybe this is the part that I changed when it came to the realization I am a product of a not so pleasant co parenting dynamic. The one thing that I can do to the best of my ability is to not make my co parenting space with my daughter's father rooted in negativity. The way I look at the dissolution of our relationship is just the two people that we grew to be. We were no longer compatible. That doesn't demean, that doesn't devalue, that doesn't take away from everything, that he contributed, not only in our relationship, but also in, like, you know, his role of fatherhood when it comes to our daughter. That's for her and that's for me too. I don't want to be stuck on, well, you didn't do this and you wasn't around. Like, no, that's another part of this stupid cycle of absent parents, because it's men and women too. Society will tell you it's all men, it's some women too. That is a part of this cycle that needs to be broken. I mean, the cycle itself is broken in the first place. Like, for real, for real. People aren't wanting necessarily to stay connected like that. People aren't fighting themselves for other people as a means to better these little people. that we each bring into this world. I know quite a few people who do not have a pleasant co parenting dynamic. Is it their fault? Who's at fault? What is fault? Can you trace it back to the straw that broke the camel's back? Can you say definitively, when this person did this, this is what broke us? A lot of times people can't do that. They want to try to, they can't. So if we're already operating in a broken cycle, some people will look at it as like, well, if it already is broke, what's the point of me trying to do anything? What do you want to leave for your kids? That's the real question, because ain't none of this about you. What you do now in the space of co-parenting and how you show up and how you're present and how you're accountable, that's all for your kids. It is. So if you can't find in you what you need to for your children so you don't have to end up being an absent parent, again, you made a choice, not a decision. Because parenting is forever until one of y'all in the grave, physically. But it goes deeper than that when you get to the emotional space. So having absent parents, like I was saying, that's one thing I wanted to be able to change about my dynamic. We don't always get along, but we don't get into it anymore either. I am the type of person where it's just like, I, baby, when I let live, I let live. Hey, boo, you go do you. I'm not here to tell you nothing. In the space of like me and my daughter's father's co-parenting space, she's with him right now. I have to support his lead when it comes to that because she's physically there. But at the same time, I also have to be a part of this team because by blood, I'm a part of this team. So a lot of people out here operating on surface level stuff when it comes to parenting. That's why in the space of the conversation that I told you, I started telling you that I was having with my friend, he was letting me know, he was like, sometimes it's really, he feels easier for the man to just pick up and leave and go start something new with somebody else who ain't gonna be about all that drama, who ain't gonna be, you know, on no foolishness. Or some of y'all ladies is wild, man. And it's cause you hurt. Like, I get it. Like, but I'm the type of person, I'm never gonna let someone's how they operate in their presence and how they operate in their absence. I'm never gonna let that push me to a space to where I could do something that could compromise not only just my life, being in my kids' life, compromise my kids' life. Like, it ain't worth it at the end of the day. Because then you will end up permanently, possibly being an absent parent. Like, if someone, because I'm trying to touch on the spaces of what I have experienced in my own personal life through the interactions that I've had with other people. And then, just some little tidbits that people have shared with me. Like, I can't give nobody a pass who's chosen to be absent. I just can't. Like, there's, okay, I'll put it to you like this, right? My child is still in Houston, right? And she'll be there until July. She's been there. without my like consistent presence since January of 2021. Now, some people will say, well, doesn't that make you an absent parent? My presence may be lacking physically, but I'm still there in every way that I was before. I don't care how many miles are between us. You still gonna get your mom. You still gonna get the same level of the lady who raised you. Because at the end of the day, in this period of these 4 years, yes, my daughter can say that I was physically not there. But I would like to think, believe, hope, and pray that my daughter feels that I was there. Out of everything that I've gone through within my relationship life and even some of my personal life, it's crazy because the way that I have the opportunity to see how everything is played out, right? Like I said, I'm a product of divorce. When I say that, I mean my mom and my dad were divorced by the time I was one. The relationships and interactions were not the best. There was a whole lot of mess that was involved, and it is what it is. And my dad is now passed, so I don't engage in that version of the past because I can't get both sides, right? And my mom has tried to tell me before, from her perspective, of, him being absent and the things that he was getting into and all that stuff. And I'm like, okay. Like, honestly, you can say it to release that from yourself, but I'm not taking it in because I don't have the capability physically to get the other side, to get the other perspective. I'm a product of divorce. Now I have a child who is also a product of divorce. But I am very intentional about making sure that that product isn't tainted as much as I can. She's going to feel how she feels. I tried to talk to her about it before, and she has not been in a space to be ready to talk about it, which is okay. I respect that. If she ever comes to me with a question to ask me what's going on, hey, okay, this is what's up. This is my perspective. I don't have the right to speak on or to condemn her father based off of old feelings and old emotions. This was my take on it. If you want, you're more than welcome to ask your dad. Go from there. But it like that's the I like to say the emotionally mature adult in me. All that ain't necessary. If you still harping on old stuff, like you ain't over it. And if you ain't over it, then you need to be by yourself. You need to be present and accountable for the little ones that you done already brought into this world, not worrying about laying up under somebody else. Because all you doing is perpetuating a damning cycle. I'm not saying stay in a situation where you're literally not happy, appreciated, valued, whatever the case may be. When you know it's time to go, okay, go if you feel that that's what's best. But I would like to ask what level of work did you do before you decided to leave, or what agreement did you come to for the sake of the kids? Like, and I'm talking to half-time parents where it's just like you may have an agreement in place that gives you 1 week on, 1 week off, but when it's your time to be on, you still low key being off because you've gotten used to that. I'm talking to them parents who just ain't around. Like I've had a client ask me, like, how can a parent just really not care about their child? To which I now have an answer for my client, a child don't really care about a child. They can't. They have not mentally grown into a space to where they have a deeper understanding of this is me. Half of this child, half of this baby, half of this being belongs to me. Until people start really looking at the level in which they operate, somebody gonna be absent. Somebody gonna choose to be absent. And it's messed up. I can't say it like I really want to say it, but it's messed up. So let's break it down from the perspective of the original question. Who's really responsible for absent fathers? In my opinion, and I know a lot of y'all gonna be like, y'all gonna try to be on my head, but I don't care. If you willing to talk about it, let's talk about it. I'm available. I'm right here right now. In my opinion, the who is responsible for absent fathers is the father. And I say that because if there is something that can literally push you to stay away from your kids, whether you are aware of it or not aware of it, you never, in my opinion, fully made a decision for your children, right? Because we all adults. We all know how people get down. There are people in this world that are just willing to fall into whatever just because it feels good in that moment. They don't use protection. They try to say they pull out game is strong. They aren't aware that the protection has come out, like whatever the reasoning is to lay with and engage with someone, especially if you're not using protection. I don't know how you can feel like you just invincible to not run the risk of possibly having kids. But if you can't see yourself possibly having a child with the person that you are engaging with sexually, what is the point in doing it just to do it? It is, and I had this conversation earlier. It is so much that I wish all of y'all could understand that goes into engaging sexually with someone, right? You have the risk of STIs, sexually transmitted diseases, or sexually transmitted infections. They don't even call them diseases no more, y'all. They call them infections. Man, I don't want either, but that infection word, it hit completely different. Don't play with it. You run the risk of being financially tied to someone, whether you are the giver or the receiver. You are now locked into a space where you either you've programmed yourself to be dependent on what this other person has to provide, and you as the provider are I feel really in a space where it is straight contention because you are now financially obligated to have to give this person that you no longer want to have any dealings with, you have to give them support for your child. You run the risk of mental instability on both sides. Cause it's like it's ironic that when the moment comes when y'all are no longer engaging with one another, you like, ah man, I'm seeing all this stuff I didn't see before. She whoop whoop, he doop doop. And it's just like, but could there possibly have been elements of that previously? Like, if you ask the question, who's responsible for absent fathers? Ask your man, your significant other, your sneaky link, your cuddy buddy, whatever you want to give that person as a designation, even the father of your child, ask them what their experience was like with their own fathers. Were their fathers actually in their lives? And if they say no, ask a follow up question. How did that impact you? Because as humans, but as men, because I've been around like literally men all my life. Like I got older, like I have brothers. I'm in the middle of four. Friends. Y'all know when we younger, we make friends with the opposite sex way easier than our own. And now, like I find myself in the space of like when I engage in conversation, it's a lot of conversation with men. I think it's because I'm supposed to get that understanding I mentioned earlier. But men are programmed most times by society, by their own, parents to just press forward. There's a good and a bad side of just pressing forward. Pressing forward should give you a increased level of resilience, right? It should put you in a space to understand that adversity will come, but when it does, because you've overcome it before once, then you have the power and the capability to overcome it again. Now, the problem with just pushing forward, thank you, I gave myself my own self a thumbs up. The only other problem with continuing and continuing and continuing to press forward, you become so programmed to the routine of pressing forward. Man, I got to do this. I got the weight of the world on my shoulder. I got this person I'm responsible for. I got this person who nagging me. I got a job that, like, I got a lifestyle it's so much. And I'm not saying that women don't go through this too. Women are designed to break that monotony to a certain extent because we're emotional. We're more in tune. We're more activated within our emotions. A man who was once a young man, who was once a little boy, is programmed. It is instilled in him. You don't cry. Don't let them see you sweat. And you take care of your family. Now, while those three things are what society says, it doesn't make it right. God did not make men void of emotions. Men have been conditioned to feel like it's not okay to show your emotions. And for some people, some men, some fathers, that's how y'all become absent. Because if you have a child that you're raising, I don't care if it's a boy or a girl, that child comes equipped with emotions. If you are someone who does not know how to manage or who is not in tune with your own emotions, you're not going to be equipped to be able to help your children manage and navigate their emotions. When they say never, what do they say? Never let them see you sweat. Them seeing you sweat speaks to vulnerability. If a man is like low key, in touch with his emotions, like, cause y'all gotta cry. If somebody die, it ain't no sense in being hard. Like, it just ain't. You lost someone that meant something to you. That is a natural response that should be had. Whatever it looks like, it's a natural response to that. But it's been so just hammered and hammered and hammered into them to where it's just like, if a man will cry, if he loses someone, like someone dies, it is a quick moment because from emotions, the next step you go into is vulnerability because you're aware that you're feeling at a weakened state temporarily. But now your mind is working in a space to where it's just like, who's looking? Mm-mm. Nope. I can't do that. It's so disheartening. Like, it really is, to be vulnerable and or emotional. It's human nature. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I don't. It's human nature. It is by God's design that we all have the same level or types. I'll put it like that. We all have the same types of emotions. Go and watch Inside Out 1 and 2 if you need a refresher course. But it's very disheartening that one group is told not to focus on your emotions. And the other group is told, well, you focus on your emotions too much. Where we getting? Where we going? How are we stopping this cycle of absenteeism if we're being absent in our own emotional states? Right? Like, you have to do the work. You have to do the work. There's no excuse in my world, and I'm not immovable. I'm not judging. While I understand circumstances may not have been ideal, but if you choose to be absent in your child's life for any reason, the more you make that choice is solidified to be a decision. And once you do it enough, then you begin to devalue your children. You don't look at them lovingly. You don't look at it from the standpoint of providing for them, because then you have to give that provision depending on the child's age or your situation. You may have to give that provision to the other parent, and you look at it as though, man, I don't want to have to pay her nothing. Hey, if it's some men who done, put their women on child support after a dissolution of their relationship, hey, I'd like to talk to y'all. I just want to make sure that, equal opportunity, that those types of things are addressed or made aware of. But it becomes a obligation, a negative obligation. Having a child is an obligation, period. It's one you really can't get out of. You're going to pay either way. You either going to do it willingly or you going to do it unwillingly, but you're going to pay either way. So if you know you're responsible either way, why not be more responsible before you get entangled, before you get caught up? I'm telling you, it ain't, that feeling may feel that way to you to engage in, sexual pursuits and all that stuff. Like, it may feel good in that moment. But for the people who have a challenging co parenting situation, I'd like to ask you, with where you are now, was it worth it? Was that one, well, not literal one, but engaging in it with that, one person that you produce a child with, was that one encounter really worth all that you're doing and going through now, if you have the type of situation to where the mother of your child is not happy with you and doesn't allow you to be in the space of your children, you got to ask yourself what's going on with that. You can't just be like, oh, that's just the way she is. Whoop, whoop, whoop. No, because at some point, she told you what was up. At some point, God showed you through signs, hey, this ain't what's up. Like, you keep engaging in it. Like, you have free will. He gonna let you do that, but he's never going to go against. He's never gonna bless mess. No matter how many times or how many ways or how deep you decide to get in it, God ain't gonna bless mess. So if it ain't worth it, like for real, for real, for real, I need y'all to hear me. Stop being messy. Stop doing the most. Stop doing it just to do it. Because you're never really just doing it to doing it. Do it. Everything that you do has meaning, has reason, has consequences, has actions, has repercussions, has something that comes from what it is that you choose to do. Whenever y'all are ready to stop playing with your life, come see me at the Clarity Coaching Collective, and let's really change this co parenting dynamic, because it's a choice to have a peaceful or civil co parenting environment as much as you can. I can't 100% like generalize like with one statement, because everybody's situation is different. There are nuances and caveats that go into what someone's co-parenting dynamic looks like. And that is why I have a whole designated section that I'm creating with the Clarity Coaching Collective to be able to just focus on co-parenting dynamics, listening to some of y'all stories and looking at where I'm at. Now, I like to think I'm special, but it's possible if you want a peaceful co parenting dynamic. It may come down to boundaries, it may come down to routines. It may come down to you not engaging in foolishness if foolishness is not what you want as a part of your co parenting dynamic. The Elevated Co-Parenting Program is coming very soon. Y'all, I am so excited about what is about to come out of this house, right? Because God has activated me in a way that is just like I have found my space, I have found my purpose, I have found my message, I have found my people, I have found what it is that I want to do. And it is still all rooted in what grew out of my mess. Ooh, it's going to be amazing. I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming and joining me tonight. I'm gonna have to get on Ray's head to figure out, did you sell me a wolf ticket? Were you really not interested? Whatever the case may be, he and I, we're gonna figure out a way to talk about it if talking about it is what's supposed to happen. But I want to thank y'all for joining me tonight on this episode of the Sunday Sit Down with yours truly, Nicole LaTreece, where we were talking about who's really responsible for absent fathers. Don't let the conversation stop here, right? Because I talked about my perspective of who's responsible for absent fathers, but my perspective may be different from yours or hers or his. But all of us talking about is what's going to bring light to how we can improve and how we can change this thing. So make sure y'all come and join me next time. I will not be here. We will not be having the Sunday sit down next Sunday because it is Easter Sunday. I am all about family. I am all about, having opportunities to just engage and spend time with your loved ones And this week, your girl is going to be out of commission. I am going on vacation, a very much needed vacation. Like, I enjoy coming to y'all and talking to y'all and, helping y'all navigate y'all spaces and stuff like that. But even the poorer has to take time to be able to get poured into, to get rejuvenated, and to get replenished. And that's what I'm finna do. Me and my girl is finna, hit these international spaces with these passports and get this done. So y'all will have to come back and join me on the 27th, which is not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. And it is our financial Sunday where we are going to be sitting down with Mr. Terrence Jones and we are going to talk about being able to understand your credit. What he told me earlier today was if you don't have your credit like you need it to be, if you don't understand how your credit actually works in this world, it don't matter how much money you make, you still not gonna end up where it is that you need to be. Hey, I'm here. I'll be there with my pen and my pad taking notes, and yes, because I need it myself. But that is one of the things about the Sunday sit down, the Clarity Coaching Collective, and then I have a new line I'm dropping called Nurtured and Loved. It is all of these work in tandem with one another because I believe that this is what it looks like for wholeness to become a lifestyle. I love it. It's coming, y'all. Rock with me. Let me know what y'all need, and I'm here for it. I'll find a space and a way to make it happen. So yeah, I am going to let y'all go. As always, please, please, please set your intentions to live a good life filled with real love and all of the above. So until Sunday the 27th, I will see y'all then. Love y'all.